"Impossible," Murat whispered, his heart pounding as he faced the unbelievable scene before him. A man grounded in reality, Murat had always dismissed supernatural tales as nonsense. Yet standing in the eerie silence of the vast space revealed behind his basement wall, his beliefs began to crumble. This accidental discovery was monumental, and the looming danger sent shivers down his spine. As Murat ventured into the darkness, a ghostly echo from the depths heightened his fear. He was stunned by what he thought he saw. The discovery of an ancient city was shocking enough, but the implications of what he spotted were terrifying. But before we start our story, smash the like button, make sure to subscribe, and hit the notifications bell so you won't miss any new stories. Just weeks before, Murat's life was ordinary. Living in a peaceful Turkish village, his days were simple, filled with the clucking of his beloved chickens. He cherished the tranquility of his routine, sitting quietly each morning listening to the birds. His quaint stone house, a family legacy, held generations of memories. He never imagined it harbored hidden secrets beneath its time-worn stones. Deciding to renovate the aging house, Murat began uncovering the stones, each a silent reminder of the past. With a background in construction, Murat managed most of the work himself, initially unaware of anything amiss. It wasn't until he went to feed his chickens on the third day of renovations that reality hit him. Counting his chickens, Murat realized he was missing 9. Frustrated, he repeatedly counted, only to find more missing each day. His flock dwindled from 15 to 14, then 13, with no trace of the missing chickens. Murat needed to find out why his chickens were disappearing. Determined, Murat investigated his property for signs of a predator, but found none. Left with only 9 chickens, Murat decided to install an outdoor security camera. The night Murat installed the camera, he was too anxious and curious to sleep, eager to review the footage. At dawn, he went to the chicken coop for his daily count, finding 1 chicken missing again, which oddly relieved him as it meant he might uncover the mystery. Reviewing the footage showed no predator near the coop, leaving him puzzled. Murat, a rational man, couldn't understand how the chickens were disappearing without a trace of struggle or feathers. The nocturnal clucking noises from within his house added to the mystery, making him question his sanity. Determined to solve the mystery, Murat monitored his chickens day and night, even hiding near the coop to spot a predator or clue. One evening, he noticed the chickens behaving anxiously, their eyes drawn to a section of his house. Intrigued, Murat followed their gaze to an old wall in the basement where he found a small, seemingly innocuous gap. The chickens seemed fixated on it, making loud clucking noises and looking at Murat expectantly. Despite the gap appearing to lead nowhere, Murat couldn't shake off the feeling that it was linked to the disappearing chickens. The peculiar gap continued to occupy Murat's thoughts. Despite seeing only darkness beyond the wall, the chicken's fixation on it puzzled him. Murat's logical mind struggled with the intuition that there was more to the gap than met the eye. As days passed, the vanishing of his chickens persisted, turning his once lively coop into a silent reminder of the inexplicable phenomenon. One dawn, after another disappearance, he found a solitary feather near the gap, a stark reminder of his vanished chickens. This discovery sent a shudder down his spine, making him question if the gap held secrets from the past. Emboldened by fear and curiosity, Murat resolved to confront the mystery. His house, once a peaceful refuge, now concealed a secret that sparked dread. Clutching a hammer, he steeled himself to tear down the wall hiding the enigmatic gap, prepared to expose whatever lay beyond it. Murat, driven by curiosity and determination, struck the basement wall of his home, uncovering a hidden tunnel. The clashing of metal against stone echoed, revealing not just a hole, but a vast, shadowy space. Murat was shocked and intrigued by this discovery, realizing that his family's home harbored an unseen realm within its ancient walls. As he stood at the threshold, a mix of fear and fascination churned within him, his everyday routine disrupted by this mystery. The eerie sounds from the depths of the tunnel intensified Murat's unease. The noise, echoing ominously off the stone walls, seemed to unveil the mystery of his disappearing chickens. He heard the unmistakable clucking of his lost flock from the hidden tunnels, steeling his resolve to venture into the unknown and discover where these passages led. With cautious steps, Murat entered the tunnel, the air growing colder as he moved further. His flashlight exposed an intricate maze of stone and earth, suggesting a secret buried for generations. As he delved deeper, he realized the monumental nature of his discovery, an extensive network of tunnels spiraling into the earth. An unsettling sensation of being watched washed over Murat. Could someone else be down there, or was it his imagination? Reflecting on past experiences, he realized that what he had dismissed as tricks of the mind had been real, from the clucking sounds to the vanishing chickens. Despite his worries, the soft sounds of his chickens compelled him to continue deeper into the maze beneath his home. Suddenly, Murat halted, his heart pounding as he investigated the shadowy distance. He found traces of a forgotten era hidden within the labyrinthine tunnels, crude pottery, intricately crafted ceramics, and weathered tools, each carrying a memory of a civilization that once thrived beneath his home. Captivated by the rich culture hinted at by the artifacts, he realized his home was not just an ordinary building, but a historical monument, a treasure chest of forgotten stories. Gripped by anticipation, Murat ventured further into the subterranean tunnels. The expansive maze unveiled rooms that told silent tales, each suggesting different uses: a cooking area, sleeping quarters, and spaces for animals. His discovery was astounding, an entire underground city beneath his home, a world forgotten by time. As he walked through the hushed corridors, Murat was deeply moved by the weight of history. He paused, hearing a faint echo that sent a shiver down his spine, perhaps the echo of lives that once animated these spaces. Though alone, the city buzzed with life in its stillness, cradling the memories of its past inhabitants. Murat's mind whirled with possibilities. Could this forgotten world be where his vanishing chickens had gone? Had they been drawn to return to this secretive location? As he journeyed deeper, the cold stone walls trembled in the light of his flashlight, casting erratic shadows. Suddenly, his light struck something extraordinary, electrifying his senses. He stood before something awe-inspiring and daunting, a testament to the hidden history beneath his home. Murat stood before a massive stone door, its cold, unyielding surface defying his attempts to move it. The door, seemingly weighing half a ton, prompted him to consider its purpose. Was it a safeguard or a trap? A small hole suggested a mechanism to move it with a rope, but the thought of being trapped behind it was terrifying. As he retreated, his heart pounded with the fear of being alone or possibly not alone in this eerie place. In the oppressive silence, Murat was paralyzed by fear, realizing his impulsive curiosity had led him into this labyrinth without informing anyone. Panic gripped him as he contemplated the possibility of never escaping, with no one knowing his whereabouts. His priority shifted from finding his chickens to escaping. The air felt suffocating and his attempts to calm himself were futile. Desperately, he scanned his surroundings, trying to remember the path he had taken. His memory was a blur, clouded by panic. In desperation, he chose a tunnel, hoping it would lead him out. This was no child's maze. The stakes were real, and every choice had consequences. With his heart pounding, he plunged into the tunnel, his flashlight casting an eerie glow on the walls. His footsteps echoed in the silence, amplifying his fear. The tunnel seemed endless, each turn identical to the last, blurring into a nightmare. Time slipped away, minutes turning into hours. Just as despair set in, he saw a faint light at the tunnel's end. His heart soared with relief as he hastened towards it, praying it was his escape. The light grew brighter and he emerged into daylight, overwhelmed with relief. He was back in his basement, the entrance to the underground city ominously behind him. Exhausted, he sank to the floor, grateful for the familiar sights and sounds of home. The discovery of the underground city was both fascinating and terrifying. Murat knew he needed to alert authorities, but something held him back. He decided to keep it a secret for now, promising himself he would return with a plan. The next day, Murat was consumed by thoughts of the labyrinth. An obsession took hold, much like the pull that had lured his chickens. The hidden city beneath his home intertwined with his once solitary life, making him question everything. Did his ancestors know about this secret? How long had it been hidden? Murat's mind was consumed by the discovery, unable to focus on anything else. He felt a strong need to return to the tunnels, believing it was the only way to find peace. Recognizing his need for help, he reached out to an old friend, Sophia, a historian fascinated by ancient scripts. He invited her to the hidden city, making her promise to keep it a secret. Despite its vast size, Murat felt an intense desire to keep the city to himself, as if it were truly his own. As they explored the tunnels, Murat's fear was replaced with familiarity and a sense of belonging. He felt like the custodian of this secret city. Anxiously, he watched Sophia, hoping she could answer his questions. Sophia was awed by the discovery, examining relics and inscriptions with fascination. Suddenly, she stopped, having found something significant. "Murat," she said, "I believe you've stumbled upon a treasure." She showed him a mural, an intricate etching on the tunnel walls, depicting a thriving underground society. The concept baffled and captivated Murat, leaving him to ponder the mysteries of the hidden city beneath his home. Murat ran his fingers along the rough stone wall, tracing the grooves of a mural that seemed to depict a detailed map of a subterranean city. "Look, Sophia," he began, but she was already absorbed in her study. "This underground city spans 18 levels," she said, a mix of awe and concern in her voice. "If my estimates are right, it descends about 280 feet below the surface, but we can't confirm the stability of these tunnels." Murat's eyes widened. 280 feet! He had thought he grasped the magnitude of the site, but this changed everything. The rooms they'd explored had all the signs of a fully functioning city, yet he now realized they had barely scratched the surface. A sudden crackling sound echoed through the tunnels. "What was that?" Murat asked, alarmed. Regret sank in. He had made Sophia promise not to tell anyone about the tunnels. If something went wrong, no one would come looking. What had he been thinking? They retraced their steps through the labyrinth slowly, fearing that a hasty escape could collapse the ancient structure. Sophia's sharp memory guided them back, while Murat wrestled with eerie sensations, whispers, a chill in the air, and a sense of being watched. Then, without fully remembering the journey back, Murat found himself in his basement again. Sophia was already on her phone, urgently calling for help. His secret was on the verge of exposure. Part of him felt relief. The city had both mesmerized and terrified him. It was time to involve others. Within weeks, experts descended on Murat's property. The discovery made headlines: a vast underground city hidden beneath his home. Murat, once leading a quiet life, was now the guardian of a historical marvel. Archaeologists uncovered deeper layers, always including Murat in their findings. The city, named Derinkuyu, was confirmed to stretch 280 feet underground, once home to 20,000 people. But the most surreal revelation was that there were over 600 hidden access points to it, many located in ordinary homes across the region. Derinkuyu revealed astonishing engineering. Upper levels housed livestock to prevent gases from contaminating lower living areas. There were remnants of a chapel, a religious school, and sophisticated ventilation shafts that circulated air throughout the city. A central well provided clean water, while massive stone doors served as protective barriers against invaders. Life underground posed challenges, but the city's residents had adapted. They used sealed clay jars for sanitation, lived by torchlight, and created designated areas to respectfully care for their dead. Murat often reflected on his early assumptions. The towering stone doors he once encountered weren't just decorative, they were strategic. He had been right. This was a marvel of planning, survival, and resilience. Years later, Derinkuyu was designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site, drawing visitors from around the globe. Now an older man, Murat watched tourists wander through the very halls he once discovered in secret. He would sometimes smile at how it all began, with a simple search for his lost chickens behind a crumbling wall. What started as a curious moment turned into one of the most profound discoveries in modern archaeology. And though the world now knew Derinkuyu, Murat would always carry the memory of that first whispered crackle in the dark, the echo of history waiting to be found.